Hey, welcome back to the Big Ranch Show. As always, thank you for joining me. If you could, hit that subscribe button down below and let's get right to it. Now, in this particular episode, I wanted to bring to you some stuff that I saw over on CNN.com. It's a list of different laws that have gone into effect as of July 1st of this year, all the way from marijuana to a gun law in Florida. But let's start off in Seattle. And this one's the biggest one that I've got a problem with, a big problem that would affect me directly if I was to happen to live in Seattle. But Seattle has banned plastic straws and plastic utensils. Apparently, violators would be subject to a $250 fine. Businesses can opt for straws and utensils made from more environmentally friendly materials such as paper, steel, or bamboo. Now, I've only seen paper utensils once, and they didn't make it through a whole meal. I saw them when I was on campus at one point. I used them, and it was terrible. They fell apart in minutes upon getting something wet. They say you can use steel or bamboo as well. Well, here's where I have a problem. Because of my disability, I'm not able to lift things. I don't care if you want me to use a steel straw, that's fine. You put a straw in drink, done, right? It doesn't matter what it's made of. It's, whatever. You put it in drink, it's done. But I cannot lift metal silverware. And I've only had my hands on bamboo silverware once, and most of the times it was too big for me to be able to hold. So it creates a problem for those of us that are disabled, that still feed ourselves, but have a very hard time doing so. So I think this is a terrible idea. I understand what they're doing. I understand why they're doing it. Obviously, it's all for just food service businesses, so I'm guessing you can still have them at home. But this makes it difficult for people like myself who are going to go out in Seattle and have a meal, and we're not able to eat because the restaurant's only allowed to have steel, bamboo, or paper, where most of them are probably just going to pick steel anyway, and those of us that are disabled are not going to have a chance to eat out anymore. And so, because for me, it's a pride thing. It's one of the last things on this earth I can still do besides run my mouth is feed myself. And I'm barely able to do that anymore. And the only reason I'm able to continue to feed myself is because of plastic silverware. Or, cutlery, utensils, and plastic straws are the only way I'm able to drink anything anymore. Now, like I said, if you want to replace my straw with a steel straw, I'm fine with that. Bamboo straw, fine. Because I don't have to lift it up and down. But like I said, paper stuff just falls apart. It doesn't last. Unless there's been some massive changes in the way paper products are made. But there's that part. And then, this is down in Florida. It's the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School Public Safety Act. Many parts of it apparently went into effect when it was signed into law by the governor there back in March. But apparently there are some things that will take place later. Like the part where they called for every superintendent to designate a school safety specialist, and for the school board to decide how many personnel should be trained in what they call the Guardian program, which aims to arm teachers by July 1st. The voluntary Guardian program needs to be the agreement of both local, district, and local law enforcement. So that goes into effect as well. Now, I'm not really a fan of arming teachers. I don't think it's a great idea. But this particular law, I think, especially this particular part, the Guardian program, I think is important because it gives local school districts and local law enforcement a chance to discuss what needs to be done and if they need to arm any teachers, or how they want to go about it. And where the teacher, the local school district and local police department have to come together and make an agreement. And another thing that took place is apparently in San Francisco, much to some people's anger and other people's delight, San Francisco's $15 minimum wage started on Sunday. They are the first major city to reach that mark, apparently. This mark is it's an increase from their current $14 an hour minimum wage. Apparently, they voted. The city voted on their on a ballot. The voters in the city passed it to raise the minimum wage in 2014. So every July from now on, the wage rate will be adjusted based on annual increases in the consumer price index. Now, many people are upset about this. Many people are like, it's going to cause people to lose their jobs. It's going to cause businesses to go out of business. But if you look up in Seattle, they have a higher minimum wage than most of the rest of the nation, and their countries seem to be, or their companies seem to be doing okay. Except for a few, and the few businesses that did close down or have been cited by the right for being a problem were actually closed down because of problems they were having long they were before the minimum wage kicked in, and things that they were already planning to do. Most of them, a few may have closed, but there again, some people on the other side would argue that if you can't afford a $15 minimum wage, then maybe your business doesn't need employees. Because it's getting insane. How much money it takes to live somewhere, to eat, and have a place to live without being homeless or living in your car. And to think that the minimum wage keeps being stagnated across the country, it's sad. Some people say, well, it hurts businesses, it hurts people's ability to get hired. Well, if that's a problem, if you want to sit there and say people should be able to work for less than minimum wage, maybe there's something you can do to allow certain people to do that. I don't know. But I personally see this as a good thing. Their $14 an hour minimum wage didn't seem to have any negative effect on the city that much in San Francisco, from what I've read. As well, San Francisco has been having a really good economic situation over the last few years, with their back when they were $13, $14 minimum wage. Also, one last law here. Well, one of the last few I'm going to discuss here. In California, they have new rules on marijuana products. According to CNN, new regulations for safety and testing went into effect, requiring marijuana products sold in California must now pass additional tests for certain chemicals, pesticides, and foreign materials. Apparently, this prompted many dispensaries in the state to slash their prices to sell off product that won't be permitted as of yesterday morning. And of course, recreational marijuana became legal in California, earlier this year. And so it's a big thing. They want to make sure people aren't getting any kind of chemicals or pesticides, breathing in any of that stuff, because that could be, really detrimental to your health. And so I can see why they want to do that. It makes sense. And hopefully it all works out for the best, and hopefully it doesn't hurt too many of the dispensaries in the process. And another one that went into effect in California, another California law, rideshare drivers will face a lower blood alcohol limit with this new law. It's directed at them, apparently, and it lowers the limit for DUIs for such drivers to blood alcohol concentration of 0.04, down from 0.08, which seems to be a standard across a lot of states, including, I believe, Texas now. But they're going to take it down to 0.04 for Uber and Lyft type drivers, and I guess that's to ensure the safety of the passengers and things like that, because you don't want people to be inebriated at any level for that. And so it's really a big thing. I think it's really important. I think more states should do this, and I think it's a great idea. And another one, in Virginia, elementary school kids will get more recess this year when they go back to school later this year. A new law permits unstructured recreational time in any calculation of total instruction time or teaching hours, provided that such unstructured recreational period or time does not exceed 15% of total teaching hours. So it's going to allow kids to have more recess time, more time to go out and play and exercise, and I think that'll actually have a net positive effect for the state of Virginia. I think it'll help, with medical costs down the road, because one reason I believe kids are having issues with obesity nowadays isn't just the food, isn't just video games. It's the fact that when they're at school, they sit there. A lot of schools are getting rid of PE slowly. We're limiting the amount of time people have in PE. They've been cutting back recess, and I think this will help the students in Virginia get out and actually burn off some of that, extra calories and stuff that they would eat in breakfast and lunch and things like that. And then maybe the parents can work on the kids playing video games all day kind of situation. I know as a kid I played a lot of video games. I was never all that often told to get out of the house. But there again, I was also rather overweight most of my life. Of course, most of that was personal choice because, I played video games or I could go outside. It was whatever. I just chose to play video games and didn't really like going outside much, except maybe to work in the yard with my grandmother and my mom. And last but not least, that I'm going to bring you here anyway, is now in Florida, you must be 18 years old to get married, except under certain circumstances. Apparently, it's a law expected to protect minors from being pressured into early marriages and stuff, which this is a major problem. We've got at least 3 states in this country that allow children as young as 10 years old to get married. And I think it's a travesty. It steals these kids' children, these children's childhoods, and it's not right. It's not fair to them. It's not fair to ruin their lives like that and force them into marriages that early. And so this is going to at least try to stop it. They're still going to have, I guess, certain situations where they can be married under 18, but the main law will be 18. And not 16, not 14 like it is in some states, and not 10 or younger as it is in some other states that refuse to pass laws to do this. Personally, I think this is a great thing. I think it's great to help in child trafficking, to stop child trafficking in the state, because it happens all across America, and I think that's one way to stop it, to help stop that and to end this kind of stuff here. And then we need more states to to follow this model and change the way they do. They change the laws in their states to not allow children under the age of 18 to get married. Now that's what I got for you today. I hope you're having a great day. I'm going to try to put together something special for your 4th of July. If I don't, there will be nothing on the 4th of July, and I'll be back with a video on Thursday and Friday. Anyhow, y'all have a great day, and I'll see you down the road.